Good afternoon, greetings, and welcome to Commissioner Partridge's Tribute. My name is Troy Dunning, and I'll be hosting the virtual part of this meeting. For those folks attending on the WebEx platform, you join this meeting muted. Later in the event, there will be an opportunity to share your thoughts. In order to do so, you will need to raise your virtual hand. Please open your chat window and participant window. This can be accomplished by opening both links on your screen found in the bottom right corner. Once the windows are opened at the bottom right-hand corner of the opened participant window, there is a very small button that looks like a megaphone. Click on it to open this, and that is where you can select Raise Hand. We will begin taking online comments after the first video. So once you've navigated to the Raise Your Hand button, go ahead and do so to get into the queue. You will be announced and unmuted in the order received. Please lower your hand by selecting the Raised Hand button once you have been called on. Thank you so very much for your participation. And I'd now like to introduce Commissioner Layden.
My name is Abe Layden, District 1 County Commissioner, and it's an honor to be with all of you today virtually on WebEx for this fond farewell to our colleague Roger Partridge. A special thank you, and it looks like I might need a microphone, so the folks virtually can actually hear me. Is that a little bit better? A special thank you to his wife, Nadine, and their family for being here with us in person today. So Roger Partridge was raised in a small town in Indiana, graduated from Purdue, and earned double master's degrees in athletic training and physical therapy from West Virginia University and Arcadia University. Roger was an athletic trainer for the New York Jets and at 3 universities before starting his physical therapy practice in Castle Rock in 1987. He served as a Douglas County Planning Commissioner and spent 3 years as the Beef Superintendent for Douglas County 4-H program before being elected Douglas County Commissioner, District 2, in November 2012. Roger was re-elected in November 2016, representing the board on the Castle Rock EDC, Dr. Cog Board of Directors, Denver South EDP, the Denver South I-25 TMA, the Southern Shooting Partnership, and the CSU Extension. He also served as chair of the Colorado Clean Water Coalition, the CCI Board, steering public lands, agriculture, wildlife, and rural affairs, and the Public Safety Communications Subcommittee. Roger, you're just gonna have to sit tight for this because you've done too much in 8 years. In 8 years as commissioner, Roger has had many significant achievements and milestones, but perhaps most notably in transportation on Highway 85, as chair of the I-25 GAP Coalition, co-chair of the C-470 Coalition Express Lanes Project, and vice chair of E-470 Board. Roger also led on incredible acquisitions of our treasure chest of open space, which is now nearly 50% of Douglas County, including the beautiful 2,038-acre Sandstone Ranch. And Roger did all this while simultaneously governing a population of over 378,000 now and overseeing a budget that today is nearly $500 million with a B. Wow, that's a lot. Let's all take a breath. Because now I'd like to share the behind the scenes of the real Roger Partridge. For any of you that would like to know what it's really like to be a county commissioner in Douglas County and work with this man every day. Now, this may come as a surprise, but Roger and I did not always agree, and there were items and issues where we had different views and perspectives. I tell you what, on a teeny tiny board of 3, when one of us doesn't vote with the other, oof, it stings. However, here's the honest to God truth. Roger Partridge was never angry, unkind, disrespectful, or small. As a man of faith, Roger didn't just talk about his values or brandy them about, but actually and quietly lived them out as the gentleman cowboy that he is. Roger was also always deeply humble. Even though he accomplished so much, he was never proud, boastful,
or looking for opportunities to take credit. This job wasn't about him or politics. It was about service, whether he got credit or not. Even in an era of social media where really nothing is off limits and everything is public, Roger's policy was simple: don't have a social media account. I know there are days when I'm reading Twitter and I'm wondering if Roger didn't have something there. But not only was Roger about selfless service, but even in the most deeply challenging circumstances, whether it was the STEM shooting in 2019 or managing a global pandemic on a local level this last year, he remained positive, forthright, lighthearted, and upstream, setting a tone of quiet confidence that inspired us and our staff. In terms of being lighthearted, Roger loved to laugh and was well known internally for what you might call dad jokes. I'm sure Landon can relate to that. Just this last week, for example, on a very sunny day where there was no precipitation, he paused to congratulate Public Works and say how immaculately they picked up the snow. Well, even these jokes earned him an eye roll or two over the years. It was a regular reminder to me as a commissioner that even in this role, not to take yourself or life too seriously, because it's short and it's precious. On a serious note, this was never made more clear than during Roger's battle with cancer, which he bravely and publicly shared. And for anyone that has been down that road, you know how dark and unpredictable those days can sometimes be. Yet Roger optimistically persevered and regained his health, with my favorite moment being a short-term shock of curly hair that he got as a side effect of his treatments. So even despite the curly hair, I was regularly reminded that while I may be the younger commissioner, he was always the handsome one. Finally, Roger and I had an inside joke that I will tell you about, which I think applies maybe now more than ever. It was snow cones, which was his unique Roger way of saying that our citizens, busy, active, successful, and bright, really aren't that interested in nasty politics and anger and vitriol. They mostly just want to have a good and peaceful life, to go to a county fair with their families and have their snow cones. And I tell you what, Roger was never more in his element than at the county fair, where everyone is in a hat and boots, rodeos abound, and families are having fun celebrating our shared Western heritage. Well, I can't say for certain in 2020 whether we still live in a world of people simply enjoying snow cones, but that is the world Roger enjoyed most, hoped for the highest, and which I will endeavor to remind myself and our citizens of, to pause, smile, spend time with those we love, and enjoy a snow cone. So on that note, we've prepared a tribute video recognizing and celebrating Roger's incredible 8 years of service, and we will be showing a portion now. Roger, we hope you enjoy this snow cone.
I cannot believe how fast time has gone. 8 years. I was thinking about Highland Ranch and your debates 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago, and here time has passed so quickly. I tell you, I'm kind of at a loss for words, I know, which is hard for me. But just thinking about you and the times that we've gone through, and it was a lot of fun being able to serve with you as the sheriff and going to the board. And you're pretty generous most of the time. And then working with you as a commissioner, and I cannot thank you enough for all your leadership and your guidance when I became a county commissioner. Because I know Jill was out doing a campaign for the lieutenant governor, and you kind of took me under your wing, and you taught me a lot, you showed me a lot, and that's something I will never ever forget. I often tell folks here that it was probably some of the best days of my life, was being able to be a county commissioner working alongside you, and just the opportunity to learn and serve the people alongside you. It's great. One thing I have missed the last couple of years, I'll be honest with you, is every time I get like a little pain in the arm or something like that, give me your medical advice and save me those co-pays. I do miss that. I know you're a busy guy, so I won't call and hound you, but if you could give me like a list of like ailments at my age now, which I'm not that old, but you know what I'm saying, of how to treat those, I would very much appreciate it, because I'm running out of money for co-pays, to be honest with you. But, you know, I love you like a brother and always will. I'm always here if you need anything. And, you know, I hate to see term limits when it affects people of your caliber. You're such a good person, such a kind heart, and you're a godly man. And you have served the county well. And I cannot thank you enough for your leadership, your dedication to the citizens, your friendship. And now, just as a citizen, as a taxpayer, knowing that we've had a good man at the helm taking care of the citizens of Douglas County, it means a lot to me. I love you. Take care of yourself, and catch you around the corner. This is a typical day at the office. I just wondered if you're dressing like this at all. But anyway, once again, take care of yourself. I wish you the best.
Roger, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your 8 dedicated years of service. I know that Douglas County is going to miss you, and I certainly will miss and hope that we get to miss you, and I hope that we get a chance to rub shoulders in whatever the next chapters hold for both of us. Thank you again.
County Commissioner Roger Partridge. This is Jeff Baker, Arapahoe County Commissioner. I just want to say thank you for your leadership. We've had some great times together at CCI, at Dr. Cog, and I want to say that you're a great person. I really appreciate you teaching me and kind of leading me when I first became a county commissioner. Wish you nothing but high expectations and high hopes for the future. Thank you, Roger.
Been a board member at Colorado Counties for a long time, and he has also been on the public land steering committee, as well as chairing many other steering committees at Colorado Counties. He's been in the leadership there and been a successful leader. In these times of polarization, you know, it's this versus that, us versus them. You know, Roger has been the kind of leader who transcends the for and against and speaks in a unified way for all local governments across Colorado. We're faced with federal mandates, state mandates, and it's very crucial that counties in particular, be they urban or rural or Democrat-controlled or Republican-controlled, it's essential that those counties unify and speak with one voice. It's the only way that voice matters on either the state stage or the federal stage. And Roger has been that leader that has the ability to bridge those divides and unify people, and I'm eternally grateful for his skills, and Colorado Counties is grateful for his skills. He's also been a critical component of bridging the gap between rural and urban. So much of Colorado is developed, and many of the commissioners from rural areas feel like they don't often have a voice. Roger was always the one from a more urban county who listened to those rural voices across counties across the state, and then found a way to work with them so that their voices were heard as well. He's been a godsend to Colorado Counties, and in a time where we most need it because of that polarization. And on a personal note, it's not easy being the executive director of such a diverse organization. We have urban counties and rural, as I said, but we also have political divides, between the counties. And Roger is always the one that picks it up. And on a very personal note, few are the people that have your back when it matters. And Roger's always had my back, and he's always had the back of Colorado counties. And I don't know what I'll do without him. I don't know what we'll do without him, but his legacy will live on because he's created a culture at Colorado counties that will endure past his tenure as a Douglas County Commissioner, and I'm just personally blessed to know Roger. And I'd just like to say, directly to you, Roger, I can't tell you how important you've been to me as a mentor, and I wish you well in whatever you do next, and appreciate the time that we got to spend together. Thank you.
Well, what a wonderful tribute. And now I'd like to open it up to all of those in the virtual world that may like to also share some comments. So Troy, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Commissioner Layton. Our first call-in person would be Thomas Brook. Thomas, you are unmuted. Go ahead.
Thank you, Troy. Roger, it's been a pleasure over the past several years to serve with you on the Denver South and have you as a board member for the Denver South organization here. You've been a tremendous blessing, and you've mentored and demonstrated by your personality the way you balancedly approach things in a more rational, non-emotional, and very logical way, as well as empathetically listening to all the positions out there. So you've been a great example for our board. I've greatly enjoyed getting to know you. Look forward to the opportunities to work with you in the future, and we'll really appreciate, we'll miss your service, and we really appreciate all you've done for Denver South. So thank you very much, and best of luck in all your future endeavors. And please stay in touch.
Thank you, Mr. Brook. We will now move on to Lance Ingalls. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, Roger. I'm sorry I'm not sitting there in a room with you. Please don't take that personally. I think I had an appointment with my daughter downtown today. I wanted to say, like everyone else, there's just so many things about you that I appreciate, that I am thankful for, and that I will miss. The biggest is your heart. There was never a time where I questioned whether you were simply trying to do the right thing for the most amount of people. You are wired that way. You are a man of faith. You are a man of great strength. I admired how you went through your personal battles, your physical battles. I admired how you dealt with disagreements. While I didn't always understand your position or necessarily or would have taken a similar position, I never, ever, ever questioned your heart. And I will miss that so much. I appreciate that so much, the way you talk to people, even when you may have been frustrated. I wish I could have always been as well-behaved as you. I will try to do better because I think your legacy deserves it. I'm really sorry I'm not physically sitting there right now, but I can't miss this opportunity to say thank you. Please keep in touch. I consider you a friend. I will miss you terribly. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to work with you for these last 8 years.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ingalls. All right, now I'd like to go ahead and introduce our Planning Commissioner, Clarence Hughes. You are unmuted, sir. Go ahead.
Thanks, Troy. I met Roger many years ago while recovering from surgery and enjoyed getting to know him during the rehabilitation sessions. We talked about life in Douglas County and his role on the Planning Commission. Having followed his career in public service for many years, I've always marveled at his sense of fairness and grace. During the time, Roger has exhibited the highest standards of what it means to be a public servant. I'd like to offer the following observations. Roger is the consummate professional, always prepared and knowledgeable about whatever the topic might be. He makes everyone feel comfortable, welcome, and appreciated. You will always get the opportunity to express your views while he listens intently, and you know that he will ultimately make a decision that's in the best interest of the citizens of the county. His integrity is unquestioned, always at the forefront and unwavering. Roger's departure leaves a void that is unique and unfillable. His service is highly appreciated by his friends, colleagues, and the residents of this great county. Wherever the road leads next, we'll all watch and be amazed by the success he has along the trail. Best wishes, my friend.
Thank you, Commissioner Hughes. I'd like to now introduce Senator Chris Holbert. Go ahead, you're unmuted.
Thank you, Commissioner Partridge. Congratulations on 8 years of service to Douglas County. First, I want to say just how grateful I am that you're alive. You're here with us. We can't be there together, but your courage through your struggles with cancer were so admirable. I have learned in my faith walk since 1992, and I prayed that prayer of salvation. I've learned to give thanks in all situations, and you have just been such an incredible example of why that's so important and why that's God's will in Christ Jesus for us. I'm sure there were times of pain and struggle that you didn't allow us to see, but your smile, your confidence, your grace during that time was such an example for me, my family, and I think all the people of Douglas County who witnessed it. Praise God that you are here today and will continue on to serve. Thank you for your time as commissioner. Thank you for your confidence, your boldness, your willing to stand for what was right. You and I had some conversations maybe a little over 8 years ago, and I am just so grateful for the example that you have set. Not in the easiest times. We've had some of the highest per capita income in the nation. We've had tremendous growth, but especially over the past year to stand up for what you believe to be right, and very often what I believe to be right. It's easy to go along when most people agree. It's hard when a lot of people disagree, and I just am grateful for your willingness to stand up from time to time on principle, and I'm just grateful to call you friend. As a constituent, thank you for your service. As a fellow elected official, thank you for providing an example to me that I can use in my service to the people of Senate District 30. God bless you and your family. May you have a prosperous and joy-filled 2021. I hope that extends to everybody in Douglas County and Colorado and this great nation. Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Thank you, Senator Holbert. Next, we'll move on to Deborah Mulvey. Deborah, you're unmuted.
Hi, thank you. I want to thank Roger so much for not just mentoring me as a relatively newcomer to politics and elected life, but as a friend. You not only welcomed me with kindness and mentorship and a gentlemanly way of statesmanship that I had grown up in the legal profession with, but when I had a health battle, I could look to you with your cancer as guidance to help me through my cancer and how to persevere, how to still function through my battle. And I could see how you did it and how I could do it. And that friendship, always asking me how I was, seeing how you made it, and seeing how I could get through it, that meant the world to me. And to see how not only you functioned as an elected official, as a professional, and as a human being throughout, that is just the best I could hope for as a mentor and someone to look up to in an elected official. So I want to thank you for that, and thank you for serving us in our county in that way. And I wish you all the best, and I hope that you'll continue to serve us because we all deserved what you gave us. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. We're going to move on to former Commissioner Jill Rappella. Jill, you are unmuted.
Roger, hi. I wanted to be there. I wanted to do a video, but honestly, I just wanted to participate more than anything. And I've been adding up how long we've known each other. And to my surprise, we're pushing close to 20 years between meeting you on Planning Commission and then working with you, or you were working with me to rehab my knee, and you working on my campaign as treasurer and then rolling in as county commissioner. It's been such a wonderful time working with you. As everybody has stated in all these videos and these speeches, you know, I don't think there's any human being on this earth that wouldn't use the word kind man when they're talking about Roger Partridge. You know, you exude kindness and thoughtfulness. I know at CCI, every time somebody would say, "Where's Roger?" and I would look around the event or the conference, and you were with the old timer cowboys in the rural communities, and you were chumming it up with them. And it was awesome to see that crossover from a more Denver metro area county commissioner, and you would always be able to cross those bridges and reach out to people. You taught me a lot, Roger. You taught me how to, when I would get eager to move forward on issues, you taught me to slow down and be more thoughtful and take a pace that would take into consideration a lot of different perspectives. And I always appreciated that about you. I miss working with you. I miss so many great things about what it was to be a county commissioner. And I will give you a heads up. When you leave office, the world becomes very, very quiet. You probably experienced a little bit of that with the COVID, but the world becomes really quiet. And that's an opportune time for you to really sit back and think about all the things that you've accomplished, and about all the good that you did in the community, and how many people you affected in a positive way. You get to embrace that, and you get to embrace more time to yourself and more time for your family. So Roger, it's been wonderful working with you. I hope to get a chance to see you out and about in the community when the world opens up again. And thanks for all your efforts this year. One of the key things, my takeaway from you, and we were always talking about kind of the world and policies and such, you always said that in this country, we don't have a health care problem, we have a health insurance problem. I think that's how you phrased it. And I'll never forget that, coming from your perspective in that industry. So best of wishes, Roger. Thank you for all you have done for the community. Thank you for all that you have given to me that helped me be a better person. And I look forward to seeing you in person. Thanks, Roger.
Thank you so much, Jill. And finally, I'd like to unmute our Douglas County Sheriff, Tony Spurlock. Go ahead, sir.
Great, thank you. Roger, I too would love to have been there to give you a hearty handshake and maybe even a hug. I want to just say a couple quick things about how you've impacted not only me personally, but the sheriff's office. You know, personally, I when I became the sheriff, I got on this crazy thing called the Fair Board, and although I knew a lot of those guys on the Fair Board, being around Douglas County for so long, but it's a different seat when you're sitting there as a board member. And it was always nice to see you there, and obviously they all appreciated it as well, to have you there representing the Board of County Commissioners and really the things that they wanted to achieve. And I know that you played a major role in the 100th celebration of the county fair and rodeo, which was awesome. I have some great photographs of us all there. And I know that was something that was near and dear and special to you, and it was fun being a part of it with you each year. But I know that 100th celebration was awesome as well. The other part is the things that you've done for the sheriff's office. You've always been very supportive, and I appreciate that. And you were able to lend some really good guidance. And of course, I know every sheriff that's come before me since Steve Zotos has all been able to say that we've enjoyed a very wonderful, great working relationship with all of our boards of county commissioners, from all the sheriffs. And I too get to say that, and I know that you're a major part of that, where we're able to have a good conversation and share ideas, and really part of looking at what's great for the greater of Douglas County and those who come here to shop and do business, but most importantly, those who live here and raise their families. And so that was always very important to me, and I always felt comfortable and quite frankly, being able to sit there and have those honest dialogue conversations that sometimes, not everybody agreed with things, but it was great to have you there, because one thing that others have said, and I will say it again, you probably have the most calmest personality of anyone that I've met. And that is a great attribute to you. And I appreciate being able to be a part of that. Obviously, you're a great man, and that has been seen in a lot of things. I have the pleasure of employing 2 of your sons, and clearly they have had the opportunity to watch and learn from you, and that is clear in their disposition and the kind of young men that they are as well. And I want to just say that from my perspective. And I'm sure that they've said that to you as well, but, good job there as well as raising those 2 boys and really being a part of how they've turned out to be. Finally, I know I talked to Stacy about doing this, and she wanted to send her regards and support to you and your family, and hope that when we get a chance, we can sit down and have a dinner together. But finally, from me, Roger, I just want to thank you for another elected official and a group of great people that have really make a difference in Douglas County, and listen to everyone that they've had to say, everything to say about you. It is so clear that your heart's love is in this county and wanting to make it a great place. And we will miss you, but I know it's great to be able to have you, as others have said, who can call on you and seek guidance and advice. So from the men and women of the Douglas County Sheriff's Department, I want to thank you for your service, and thank you for all your support that you've given to us. But for me, thank you for being a mentor and a supporter of mine. And God bless you, and enjoy your new adventure.
Thank you very much, Sheriff Spurlock. We have completed our call-in comments, so I'll be happy to return this to Commissioner Layden.
Thank you, Troy, and what a wonderful opportunity to hear from our amazing colleagues that really are the hallmark of the collaboration and the good things that we get to do together as a team in Douglas County. Well, it's my pleasure to introduce somebody that many call boss. I call him coach, but no doubt none of our successes would be possible without him, our illustrious county manager, Doug DeBoard.
Thank you, Commissioner. Can you hear me okay? Thanks. And we're in this environment and it's kind of cold, but I really want to thank the staff that made this possible. You can see behind us there, Sarah, Casey, we have Rhonda that put together stuff, Wendy, Drew, Vince. It was important to all of us that we did the best we could at this kind of scenario, so we can communicate to you all, to your family, what we see in Roger and what he meant to us, because you know what he means to you. You see the eyes of a wife or as a son. He's your father-in-law. Grandkids call him Packy. But you don't get to see how we get to see it. So in many ways, this is about us communicating for you all what Roger did and was like. And we're going to record this. And what we really envision when we put this together is it's for the grandkids to watch a couple of years from now when they're a little bit older. And they can hear things about their grandfather that they maybe didn't know. And I'm going to shorten my remarks because I think a lot of the things were covered in terms of Roger, that he's I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say he's the kindest man I've ever known. If you just think about that, that's pretty remarkable. That very, very composed. I'll also say I like to have a lot of fun. And I've been waiting 8 years for CJ to put up this picture that I think your grandkids need to understand. Now, this is a scene. It's not a very good picture. That's Sheriff Weaver and that was Commissioner Weaver at the time, and we were at an employee picnic, and it was winding down. But I was able to watch this from the side, and you can see Steve Koster there looking. It was just a moment where these guys were just having fun, and they say, hey, let's do the hula hoop. And then as they were doing it, they realized, wait a second, parts of our body are touching one another that we don't want touching one another. They quickly, said this, and then they just started dying laughing. And it's just a memory of kind of playfulness and the goofiness that he had. I think, in terms of things I've learned that I hope you get your granddaughters to ask him about, because these are things I've heard kind of from your eyes, but from him. He told me he laughed so hard at I don't know which son it was, but at the dinner table, and there was a brief accident of flatulence, and he said very sternly, farts are not funny. And then he just laughed as hard as he could, and he just lost it. And I heard that, and I just thought, I'll make sure your grandkids know that story. I got to see him watch a Pixar short called Jerry's Story. It's about an old man playing chess with himself. And that made him laugh. And I would love to see his grandkids watch that with him if they haven't already. I can't remember. I can remember to this day how hard he laughed at that. Many of us didn't know he enjoys woodworking. Many of us know he loves peach cobbler. Many of us know that he loves the origin of sayings. I don't know if you guys get this, but it's kind of subsided. But he kind of had that Cliff Clavin thing going of, hey, do you know where the real McCoy comes from? And he just loved, and occasionally he'd find somebody that would say, oh yeah, let's talk about that. It might be Peter Colshaw, it might be whoever, but and the stories could go on and on. I think the other thing that makes sure the family knows is that point, Commissioner Partridge mentioned the point where got his 2 master's degrees, was a trainer for 3 universities, including CU basketball and football, and then the New York Jets. But he has a lot of stories about people he met there, people that came from different backgrounds, inner city backgrounds. Stories of somebody like Schaefer Suggs, who also grew up in Indiana, was a defensive back for the Jets, became friends. But he learned so much. So that time as a trainer taught him a lot about, like Schaefer Suggs would always say, hey, he had this saying, it's your world, squirrel. It's your world. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. For Roger, that was a whole thing of learn to be content. And there was Willie Beebe. I don't know, Willie Beebe, quite a wild man who had his unfortunately had to have a testicle removed and went to know Willie B. And Roger said, that taught me to always not take yourself too seriously. There's a lot of stories how he befriended somebody in called the Vespers, which was the Hells Angels, a version of that. And he was treating him when he was a resident, and he just became his friend. And I think those experiences, Roger could befriend anybody, and did. Those are some of the stories I remember personally. I think you've heard a lot today about the stories of the difference. I think the main thing, and there's a lot of things, but the main thing for me is if you're in the future and you see a fire like happened this year, and you see it get out pretty quickly, and it's in Douglas County, you can say that was Grandpa Roger, that was Pocky, because he's the one who brought in the concept hard, heavy, fast. And we're still the only county that does it. It's about a hand crew, it's about tank crew, it's about air support, it's about a dedicated helicopter. And to this day, that's part of the legacy. Every year we can ask what happens if we didn't do that. But there's a lot. And so for the sake of time, I think Deborah and Senator Holbert mentioned his cancer, but it really does need special mention, particularly for his grandkids, so they know the perseverance under grace. And I think I'm just going to read something he wrote to all employees on in the middle of 2018, as he's still going through it. He said, "I want to take this opportunity to give my heartfelt gratitude to all of you. Your prayers, thoughts, encouragements, fist bumps, hugs have meant the world to me. Being halfway through chemo, there has been significant positive changes made. With more information expected in August, I know I'm blessed, and I pray these blessings for others. I can't say that there's been a miraculous healing. I think we've had good news since then, but I do believe all is for our great Father. What I do find miraculous is the belief, faith, and support myself, my family have received from so many. The deep thoughtfulness, the passion, time, and energy put into the notebook actually overwhelmed me with joy and strength. I can't read through it with a dry eye. So again, thank you for your love, support, prayers, and the feeling among us that we all keep the faith. You inspire me with love and appreciation." So that's ended well. So we do have a hard stop today. We want to give Roger some time. We have one more video, and we're going to go ahead and play that, and then hear from Roger, and we have a few parting gifts.
Commissioner Partridge, on behalf of the Denver Regional Council of Governments Board of Directors, its 58 member jurisdictions and staff, I want to thank you, sir, for your many years of dedicated service to this region. During your tenure on the board, we hit many milestones, including unanimous approval of the region's MetroVision plan in 2017, the approval of at least 2 transportation improvement programs, or the TIP, but more importantly, you were intimately involved in changing the manner in which we allocate funding through the TIP process. Our regional sub-regional model has resulted in a more collaborative approach to transportation infrastructure investment. And lastly, sir, we are serving more older adults than we ever have through our Area Agency on Aging partnership. As you know, Commissioner, I also reside in Douglas County, and as a resident, I want to thank you, sir, for your tireless effort to make Douglas County a place where families want to live, work, and play. I would like to thank you for the friendship. We've had some up and downs through the years for sure, but I always appreciate your candor and at times keeping it lighthearted when the situation warrants it. Thank you again for your public service, and I know our paths will cross again in the near future. All the best, my friend. Talk soon.
Roger. I first encountered you as a Douglas County Planning Commissioner and was instantly struck by your insightful and thoughtful questions. You were always so fair-minded, and I was really, really happy to see those movie star good looks transferred to the Board of County Commissioners. You've been a terrific commissioner, balanced, fair, and again, so thoughtful. You're really fun to talk to. You engender a huge confidence that Douglas County will always do the right thing, and there's no better testimonial than that. We've worked together for many years at Denver South, where you've had a ever sensible presence and kind of steadying influence that's guided us carefully through some choppy seas. I've really enjoyed our working relationship, but more importantly, I've enjoyed our friendship. I feel blessed to have had you in my life. Congratulations on a great tenure at the Board of County Commissioners, and I look forward to hearing the next chapter in the adventures of Roger Partridge. All the best, Roger.
I just want to say, as a longtime CDOT employee and somebody who's worked on projects with you, many projects, that I always knew when the project had a difficult question that I could come to you and I could have a conversation no matter how difficult things got, and you would have my back and we would work it out. And I always just had that implicit trust for everything you did as a person. And I can't say that enough, because you have just been not only somebody I trusted, but somebody I emulated as a mentor and a friend. Thanks for your service to Douglas County.
Roger, John Dyack here. We're sure going to miss you, not only here in Douglas County, but down in Dr. Cog and trying to figure things out down there. I'm certainly going to miss you for the last 6+ years. It seems you and I were Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I don't know how I can possibly ever replace you, but I will sure try, and I will keep up the fight. Thank you for all your years and time of service, and have a great retirement.
Well, what a wonderful video. And all I have to say is that interesting photo of you and Dave in the hula hoop. I'm just hoping George Teal doesn't get any ideas with me. So on that note, Roger, we do have some special gifts that we'd like to give you. So if you want to come up, I'd like to present a couple of those to you. So the first is we figured a wagon wheel might be a lot more appropriate than a plaque for a gentleman cowboy. So that's to you, Roger. And we also heard that you were, news to us, really interested in woodworking. So we got you a little chainsaw, which maybe will remind you to just cut out anything negative and all the nonsense in your life. So this is for you, as well as a gift certificate to Murdoch. So there you go, sir. And we do have on the kudo board, that will be provided to Roger at a later time. I think we have 50+ wonderful kudos, but it's been an honor to serve with you. We really just appreciate you very much. Take care, buddy. I know it's COVID. I'm going to give you a little side hug here. Now I'll turn it over to you for some comments, if your hands are free. Yes, wherever you'd like.
Is there a mic here?
Yeah, this one's on right here. This one's on right there.
Well, first of all, start out, when I grow up, I want to be an MC like Abe Layden. Abe, thank you so much. You're just a phenomenal, And I say, I don't know where to start, but I will say that, Abe, you just are phenomenal. I really appreciate doing this. Thank you so much. And I'll start out first by saying, everyone knows I always get emotional, but I really want to thank my family for the support. Because you talk about the wind under your wings, and they're the reason why, so I really appreciate that. But certainly, have been blessed. So I thank God, I thank my family, I thank my friends and neighbors, but really want to thank the co-workers. I really appreciate everybody who's online and all your wonderful, kind words. And I look at that, you are all my mentors. And I look at you as the friendship, and I've learned so much from everyone. And I certainly have been given more than I have given to all of you, is the way I look at it. I want to start out first and really recognizing Doug DeBoard and Lance Ingalls and Drew Campbell, Wendy Holmes, the entire staff, because it's phenomenal. Even look at this setup here and what we've seen through this year. A year ago, could we imagine that we're able to have a kind of meeting here that we felt, you know, we really are in touch, we really understand, but no way. But what staff has been able to do to make virtual feel like we are in person, I just really want to thank them. So that is IT, but it goes down to every department that I've worked with. I want to tell you, incoming Commissioner-elect George Teal, in our conversations, I let know Commissioner Teal said, you know, one thing I can tell you, there's not one person on staff you cannot trust. They will tell you everything from their heart. They will tell you the good, the bad, the pro, the con, and they won't direct you any way other than give you the full knowledge. So we've been so blessed with this staff, and that really gives a tribute to, as we know, Doug DeBoard. And as I say with Doug DeBoard, first of all, Freud's got nothing on Doug DeBoard, but he's also an individual that could go without a name. It's one of those that does not require any type of accolades. But I know it was just a few years ago when he was given the award through County Manager of the Year through the Colorado County Inks, which is the highest award you can get as a county manager. And we still give him a hard time because I think he said 2 words. Two of them were thank you, and that's about it. But then he turned it over. He started complimenting everybody else in the room. And that's Doug DeBoard. But we hear it from the staff. There is nobody better. So Doug, thank you for the opportunity to work with you and how you guide the commissioners. You really do guide we, the commissioners, and you guide this county. So thank you so much. To thank former commissioners I've served with, Dave Weaver, Joe Rappella, just thank you so much for your kind words. And Jack Hilbert too, wonderful, because you come in having some understanding and knowledge, but it hits you, it's the fire hose. And they're warm, they're welcoming, they want to make sure you have your input and you understand, because it really is tough, everything you're up against. And you really appreciate them. So I want to thank those that I've served with before, everyone online who has made those wonderful comments, are just motivating for me and inspiration for me. And I also want to, this is the book that Doug referred to. I've snowed out through a hard time in my life, but I never felt alone. And I seriously, I cannot read this book. I can't even get through a few pages before I have to put it down. But I've kept it, and I'll tell you what, staff, thank you so much, because my mind is a bestseller. And at this time, I want to have us give a prayer for Hope Ingalls, for what she's going through right now. So Lance, we know you and Melissa were there for her, but it's a challenge. So really pray for Hope, and anything I can do to help there is certainly will. But I was given the opportunity to maintain as a commissioner, and this is really where staff came in, right from a hospital bed. I'm able to go through a hearing, and the hospital, this hearing started. They start at 1:30, the main one starts at 2:30. The hospital staff had to come in and do a few things, and they peek in the room. You done yet? Nope. You done yet? Nope. We didn't finish till 9:30 that night, but it was the amazing staff that let us go through. It was a very difficult hearing, we heard. But I really want to thank Commissioner Laura Thomas, who really helped me through that time, because she was chair, and Commissioner, Diane Holbert. And they did a wonderful job picking up the pieces, and I was just so fortunate to be able to serve with them through this difficult time. But good times are here now, is what I say. I've been blessed, so in remission, and I just have been so thankful that county has been there so much for me. And I think of all the accomplishments that I've had the ability to be involved with. And it just warms your heart to be able to see those every day. In fact, it drives you a little bit nuts. And I think Commissioner Layton, you probably understand. I think probably everybody in public service understand. You can't take a step without saying something. It drives my wife nuts, in fact. It rains a little bit, and then I start talking about water. And you see a house being built, and I talk about a planned development and everything we have to go through. But it really shows you how much public service, it touches every part of your life, but it's important to all of us. And it really matters when you look at Douglas County, because I think we've got the greatest county in the country. There's no doubt we are the healthiest county in the state. And we've been the healthiest county in the country, and that's a real tribute to the citizens. So, and I really appreciate the President Board. It's not us that has created a healthy county. It's the citizens themselves that care. But it's our role and goal to make sure we keep that. And one big part of that, and people have heard me say it often through the years, and it's just not because my sons are involved in law enforcement, but when we look what happened yesterday, when we look what happened to many cities through the summer, and you saw the mayhem, the lack of control, we don't have that here in Douglas County. And a lot of that is the citizens, no doubt, but it really is a tribute to law enforcement, this county, the cities, and I really want to hand it to the other city councils. Everybody has that attitude. In Douglas County, we want to maintain civil society. And if it wasn't for law enforcement be able to do that, get that support, we wouldn't have that. But it means so much. I remember 6-8 years ago, there was an individual visiting for a conference. And I can't remember, she was someplace from the east. And she said, she knew as a commissioner, and she said, there's something special about Douglas County. She said, almost when I came across the county line, there was something different here. And I looked at her, I said, do you feel safe? She said, that's it. So when we look at what we do to maintain a good civil society, we have proper law enforcement. We know we have safe homes, safe streets, safe schools, and safe businesses. So that means so much. And I guarantee you, defunded police is probably not an issue after what people saw yesterday. We thank the police, we thank all law enforcement for what they do every day. And to see Commissioner, well, what do we say? Sheriff, Commissioner Marshall Weaver, what a kind gentleman he is. He emulates many things I think a lot of us want to be. Doug, I was thinking we were going to go through some of the many projects and the successes we've had, and they're just numerous to remember. And as I've worked on my resume, you just look at the opportunities I've had with others. And I've done nothing on my own. It's the collaboration and camaraderie that we see so much that makes everything. So as I wrap up here, I know you've got a good board of county commissioners coming forward. I know we have excellent county councils and mayors in this area, and that's one thing we really focus on. It's that whole partnership of governments, whether it's the library board, the school board, whether it's Highlands Ranch Metro District. Everything that is here that governs where we live matters. And I know we have a good set of commissioners coming forward, and I feel very fortunate to still be a citizen and know that it's all going to be taken care of. So I know I've probably forgotten many things. I will still be around. I will be, one of my next ventures, I will be head of operations for a consulting company we're going to start with commissioners, a startup with a former commissioner I work with. So I'll be around. We're working on making sure that government executives, whether it's county, state level, still have that ability to use your expertise to help out, to help our communities and make our state a better place. So I'll be doing that. And so I'll see you around, but one thing I don't want to do is be a bug to you. I want to be a friend of anything, but I just, you know, when you hear people say, you know, make sure you come back and visit. Well, you do that in a cautious way. So I never want to be a problem, but I sure appreciate the friendship, and I hope we get to see a lot of you out and about, because it just warms my heart to be able to be associated with all of you. So I can just say, it's your world, squirrel, and I'm just out to grab a few nuts, because I really understand what that means. That we're all in this together, it really matters. So thank you for the opportunity for 8 years, and God bless you all, and we hope for a great 2021. Thank you, everyone.
Well, I think that's all we have for today. Thank you to everyone for joining us virtually and everyone that was able to be here today. We'll miss you, Roger.